The Galactic Entertainment Summit was the most prestigious event in the known universe. Species from 47 different star systems gathered on the neutral station, Nexus 7, to showcase their finest cinematic achievements. This year, the Zelthari Confederacy had prepared something special, a documentary they'd titled Earth, the Death Planet. Lucia adjusted her jacket as she and Gale entered the massive screening hall. They were the only humans present among hundreds of alien attendees. The invitation had been unexpected. Most species still viewed humanity as the galaxy's newest, and perhaps most peculiar addition to the interstellar community. "Think they'll like our planet," Gale whispered, settling into a seat designed for beings with 3 more joints than humans possessed. Considering they classified it as a horror documentary. "Probably not the way we'd hope," Lucia replied, trying to find a comfortable position. The lights dimmed. A Zelthari ambassador stepped forward, their translucent body shimmering with bioluminescent patterns that indicated solemn warning. "Distinguished guests," they announced, "what you are about to witness is not for the faint of circulatory system. We present the most comprehensive study of the galaxy's most hostile inhabited world. Viewer discretion is advised." Murmurs of concern rippled through the audience. Several species activated personal shield generators. Lucia and Gale exchanged amused glances. The film began with ominous music. Sweeping shots of Earth from orbit appeared, and the narrator's voice, translated through neural implants, spoke with the gravity of someone describing a war zone. "Earth, a planet where the very atmosphere turns violent without warning, where death descends from the sky itself." The first segment showcased a thunderstorm. Lightning split the dark clouds while thunder rumbled through the audio system. The alien audience gasped. Some covered their auditory organs. A few near the front scrambled toward the exits. Gale leaned toward Lucia. "That's just a regular summer storm in Oklahoma." Lucia, elbowed him, but she was grinning. "At least it's a good one. See that cell rotation? That's got to be a supercell. Could spawn a tornado, really. Think it'll develop a hook echo." The narrator continued. "Electrical discharges of up to 1 billion volts tear through the atmosphere, each one capable of incinerating organic matter instantly. Humans call this phenomenon lightning. They venture outside during these events. Some even deliberately observe them for pleasure." A Quellian delegate 3 rows ahead made a sound like choking. Their fur had puffed to twice its normal size. On screen, the footage shifted to a tornado. The classic funnel shape descended from roiling clouds, tearing across farmland with devastating force. "Oh, that's a nice F4, Gale said appreciatively. "Look at the debris cloud. Classic. Maybe F5, Lucia countered. "See how the entire mesocyclone is rotating. The wind speed indicators are showing 270 kilometers per hour. The narrator shrieked. "These tornadoes can level entire settlements in moments. The humans have a rating system for them. They treat it as a game." "It's not a game," Lucia muttered. "It's the Fujita scale, you dramatic jellyfish." But the aliens didn't hear her. The hall erupted in horrified chittering clicks and whistles. Several species had activated emergency breathing apparatus. The documentary moved on to hurricanes. Satellite imagery showed the massive spiral formations approaching coastlines. The footage was admittedly spectacular. Hurricane Maria in all its terrible beauty. "Category 5, Gale noted. "The pressure gradient is insane. Look at that eye wall. Wind speeds over 280 kilometers per hour, Lucia added. "Storm surge would be at least 5 meters. The narrator seemed on the verge of panic. "Storms larger than some moons, lasting for weeks, generating the energy equivalent of multiple thermonuclear devices every second, and humans, humans name them. They give them individual identities like beloved companions." "Well yeah," Gale said, at normal volume, causing several nearby aliens to jump. "Makes it easier to track multiple systems. Last year we had so many, we ran through the whole alphabet and had to start using Greek letters." A Clavian ambassador turned its eye stalks toward them. You have multiple world-ending storms simultaneously." "Oh sure," Lucia said cheerfully. "Sometimes 5 or 6 at once during peak season. September's usually busy." The Clavians' eye stalks drooped in horror. The film continued with blizzards. Footage of the Great Blizzard of 1888 showed streets buried under snow, visibility reduced to 0. "Frozen atmospheric precipitation," the narrator intoned, "falling in quantities sufficient to bury entire structures. Temperatures plunged to levels that would freeze methane solid. Winds create whiteout conditions. Humans cannot see, cannot navigate, cannot survive, and yet they persist in these regions, generation after generation. Minnesota's not that bad." Gale protested. You get used to it, says the guy from San Diego, Lucia teased. Fair point. The documentary reached its crescendo with footage of a supercell thunderstorm at sunset, lightning illuminating it from within like a cosmic lamp. It was objectively beautiful and terrifying. The storm stretched from ground to stratosphere, a churning tower of raw atmospheric power. My God, Lucia breathed. That's gorgeous. The structure, the anvil formation, that's textbook perfect. Updraft velocity must be incredible, Gale agreed. I'd rate that a solid 10/10. Behind them, they heard a translator catch that comment and broadcast it. The aliens turned to stare. Did they just rate the apocalypse storm? Someone whispered. The film ended with dramatic music and a final warning. Earth, a world of endless atmospheric warfare. How humanity survives remains one of the galaxy's greatest mysteries. The lights came up. Silence filled the hall. Every eye, stalk, sensor, and photoreceptor focused on Lucia and Gale. Finally, the Zelthari ambassador approached. You lived through these phenomena? All of them. Well, not all personally, Lucia admitted. I'm from the Pacific Northwest. We mostly just get rain, just rain. The ambassador's patterns flickered in confusion. Sometimes really impressive rain, she clarified. The occasional atmospheric river, nothing like the Midwest tornado alley though. That's where you get the really exciting stuff. Gale nodded. Storm chasing is actually a hobby back home. People drive toward the tornadoes to photograph them. You chase them. Aquilian's voice cracked through the translator. You pursue the death vortexes. They're beautiful, Gale said simply. Nature at its most powerful. It's humbling. The ambassador's pattern shifted through several colors that the translators struggled to interpret. Finally, it settled on something approximating resigned bewilderment. Your species is insane. Maybe, Lucia smiled. But we throw really good hurricane parties. Next one, you're invited. As they left the screening hall, they could hear the aliens behind them already composing their reports back to their homeworlds. The humans, they would say, were not merely survivors of their planet's hostile weather. They were enthusiasts. Gale checked his tablet. Hey, there's a severe weather alert back home. Looks like a derecho is forming across Iowa. Lucia pulled up the satellite data. Oh wow, that's a beautiful squall line. Definitely taking screenshots of that for later. They walked through the station corridors, already discussing wind shear dynamics and convective potential, leaving behind an auditorium full of aliens who would never quite understand how humanity had conquered their world by first learning to appreciate its fury.